Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's part 2 of Daily 613, where we're learning to be a better gamer, and we're about to learn how to do so from life. From life itself. All the puns, let's go ahead and do a little bit of adjustment. OCD is finally calming down. So what did we do in part 1? We took a look at what the standard way to play ZvT is. It's a very defensive style, or I should say a standard way to play, that relies on the defensive utility of the Mutalisks. We saw in particular as the game went on that it was kind of hard to get up a fourth base. In fact, kind of damn frickin' unreal hard. However, there's more ways to play ZvT. But they also suck, right? It's Ling, baneling, all-in seems to be what players are doing, right? Ling, baneling, roach, all-in, or muta defensive play. Life's going to show us something in between. Now, as we go into this game, I want to just drop something in your brain. We're going to solve every problem with Queen, Zergling, baneling. That's what we're going to do. We're going to be trying to solve all those problems up to the first 12 minutes with those 3 units. And just imposing this restriction, things start to become so much clearer. We don't have to worry about things like, well, God, should I be going roach right now? Should I maybe be trying to incorporate some other sort of funky composition? Nope. Really simplified set of units. And also from life, we're going to be doing a pretty in-depth look at timings on the geysers. Because if we are solving everything with Queen, Ling, and Roach... Oh, excuse me. If we're solving everything with Queen, Ling, and baneling, we don't actually need as much gas. The last thing I want to note is how efficient life is. There's this whole idea of... I actually did a podcast on it, on redundancy and purpose. Redundancy is the idea of defending against something twice. It's like a Dark Templar next to a missile turret. You can just kill it. You don't need to scan because the scan is redundant. It does the same thing that the missile turret does. There's more subtle forms of redundancy, like a player who builds a lot of queens for defense and is safe, and then builds a whole bunch of extra spines. You want to remove those as much as possible. And similarly, things that you give one purpose, you want to extend their purpose throughout the game. Very simple example. We have 2 queens for our 2 hatches. We build a 3rd queen to defend. We will extend the purpose of this queen by building a 3rd hatch later, and then that queen can inject on it. It not only served the now's purpose of defending us, but also served the future purpose of going to the hatch. So this is going to be an absolutely gorgeous style from life. We'll actually look... Actually, let's look at the Jjakji cam and just do it real frickin' fast. Just up to the first brief period so we can see these phases. Okay, so Jjakji, phase 1, as we see many Terran players do, some sort of corner cutty strategy just to get up an expansion as fast as possible. Then around 5 or 6 is when we begin to see that Hellion contain, and actually it'll come just after 6. Doink, doink, doink. And then we see this long phase of build-up. We see a 3rd command center going down. We see 2 engineering bays coming up, because around 12, that's when Jjakji is going to be transitioning into a big ol' mass barracks, mass mine, mass everything that begins with the letter M. Cool. So in fact, Jjakji is doing the same thing that we took a look at in part number 1. So life is going to be doing things not too out of the ordinary. First, Overlord is going to head straight to the natural expansion of the Terran player. We can even see some little blips there from where he's clicking. And subsequently, we're going to see life expand. Yeah! We know how that works. Usual corner cuttingness coming up. Building 1 drone. Oh, wait a minute. Why build just 1 drone? why not build a whole slew of drones? That's what we saw Roro do in that standard play. We're actually going to see a really cool timing that's actually freaking hilarious. So, alright, Life scouts here. Doesn't really see anything. No gas yet from Life. I will just note, look at this mix right now. We see the barracks and the command center tend to finish at 3:45. I mean, I like to round, so I'll just say around 4 minutes. They tend to finish around 4 minutes. Doink. And this has 12 seconds to go. So yeah, it finishes like right at 4. So we can just round. So when Life's pool finishes, he actually builds 4 Lings straight away. He even saved the larva to make sure he had enough for those Zerglings. And now Life is going back to everything that's standard and to be expected. But Life also knows that this command center's up. And hilariously, we hit a key timing just by sending our Zerglings all the hell the way across the map. So let's ignore what's going on back home in Life's base and just note this cool timing. 6 minutes is generally when this factory is going to begin churning out some of those Hellions. So at 5 minutes, he's only just begun, right? So by taking our first 4 Zerglings, we can actually just walk right into his base. This is actually an extremely reliable timing because there's only one supply depot right now. Look at Jjakji's supply, 22 of 30. We can just walk into his base. And then look, this Zergling that just walked into the base is pulling back these Marines, which allows us to walk these Lings right into his base. I don't really see a lot of Zerg players do this. Most of the time, Zerg players are just not building these sets of Lings. They're building drones. But Life is just doing a great job, doing a little bit of distracting. He might get an SCV, and boom, he does. He got to see absolutely everything that's going on in the base. Yeah. Nice. Cool. So that's already a nice little timing that I think people rarely will do. So what we're going to see Life follow up with is the 4 Queen opening, which, you know, I'm sure a lot of people know. Going to be going for the double Queen, followed by double Queen, and the 2 first Queens that we built go straight to the front, and we begin droning up like crazy. All the while, Life is doing a little bit of this annoying harassment just to make sure that there's, you know, no extra barracks going down or any sort of funky cheese play incoming. And right when these queens finish up, we see our first critical gas timing. It is at 5:30. You can remember it at 5:30. You can say it's at 42 of 44, or you can just say when the queens are done. I think Zerg is one of the worst races to use supply count timing for, especially for a new player. It's really fun to have things like, alright, on 41 supply you do this, and on 50 supply you do that. The real reason is because Zerg does stuff in bursts where they'll have like 10 larvae on 2 hatches and be at like 40 supply, and then just hold the D button and suddenly erupt to 50 supply. So what if something says 43 supply as a timing? If you missed something, it gets totally messed with. It's much easier to do something consistent, like when Queens 3 and 4 finish. 6 minutes is when we want this to start. So a little before 6 minutes is when we send the drone. Down it goes. So, we already see another really cool thing that Life's doing. Look at the overlords. In the unit count, we have 6 overlords. Here's one, the first one we sent. I'm actually curious where the second one he sent was. Oh, here it is. This overlord hooks up. So that way, by the 6-minute mark, it's just chilling out in the open here. But look at these overlords. At every single attack position that could be heading into us. And the only other overlord that's not in position is the one that just finished. Very often you'll see players take fairly cautious overlord placements, like putting one here over this little pillar, you know, so it can easily run away. They'll put one here where no Marines can shoot at it. But remember, Terran players are going to be going Hellion and Reaper. So as long as we have all our overlords close to our sides of the map, this is going to help a lot. So this is a fantastic move that we already see Life doing. And you might say, how close should I put the overlords? You should make sure that the overlords are touching your existing vision. So here's my existing vision of the hatch. It goes to here. So this overlord touches that. Something like here is not very useful because we can't keep an eye on anything. Basically, we want to make sure that everything nearby us is completely visible. So if a unit is wandering around outside of our base, we know exactly what angle it intends to enter. So now we have our gas coming on up. Yeah, so far so good. Do have these 4 queens out. Only made those first 4 zerglings. Everything else is pretty typical. The creep is basically joining here. This is a really nice trick that we actually see Life doing. This first creep tumor, this is really cute actually. This first creep tumor, he places here, and he's not actually going to walk it into the main base. He's going to place it here, and then creep spread this way. So here's the creep tumor. It's actually going to go there. But it spreads creep enough so that they're basically touching. Isn't that cool? I love that. Love that, love that, love that. So why would Life send in a scout timing right now at 7 minutes? Because this is when we would see extra barracks or a 3rd command center go down. Life can't see the 3rd command center, but he's still going to be pretty happy with knowing that he can't see that 3rd set of barracks. Unless the barracks were built over here, which is pretty unlikely, you know, still possible, but that's one of the reasons for that scout timing. So, alright, we're going to back up 20 seconds. We are now at 6:40. We see yet another queen getting produced. This is going to help us so much against any variety of early pushes, whether it be some sort of crazy fast starport with mines, whether it be some sort of just standard Hellion Reaper pressure. 7 minutes is when the 2 evolution chambers go down. This is looking quite similar to Roro, in fact. But these overlords are being really, really smartly placed. A pair of zerglings actually begin to go investigate the 3rd, just to see if they can get any additional information. Still only 2 geysers. Right after the 7-minute mark is where we actually see Life begin to build some extra zerglings. But it's not a lot. Life is not actually going to be adding on too many zerglings at this point in time because he wants to drone to get as many drones at this expo as possible. Here, already he's at 22 of 24. This, people might say this is too many because 16 is the optimal amount, but once we build these 2 geysers here, 3 in each geyser will drop this down to 16 of 24, so that's fine. But fortunately, thanks to these overlords, I mean, Life got to see everything that was incoming, and great. So we have 3 queens on each hatch. 1, 2, 3. We have 2 queens. That's actually enough to clog this entrance here. Just spreading creep around. Golly, this great overlord placement. Nothing's going to be a surprise to us. And a single spine crawler. Layers up at 8 minutes. This is looking quite a bit like Roro's play. However, notably absent are these gas geysers. Very notably absent are these gas geysers. We have a spore crawler is just like a little emergency backup to make sure that, you know, in case drops come in. Why on this side? Because we have no vision over here. We do have vision over here with these overlords for drops that would come in on this side, but we don't on this side, so that's why the defensive structures are there. Wherever there is no vision, that's where you shall place your defensive structures. Still not a lot of zerglings. Still not a lot of geysers. Here's where we start to see dot explosion. 80 supply, 845, baneling nest, double extractor. Or you can just say when the layer is halfway done. Baneling nest, double extractor. Scouting going all around on all the sides. Even canceling the spine crawler because of, oh, feeling pretty safe. Macro hatch. Still droning. Still droning. And last but not least, my favorite part of this entire whole frickin' thing is that right as these geysers finish and we send units in, life gets another hatch. Oh yeah. Just with really good overlord placements, with a lot of queens, and a handful of lings, we have completely defrayed any sort of early pressure, and this creep spread is going out of control. Life is up to 64 drones. It's not tremendous, but we'll note we have a little over 16 here, mining minerals, and 3 in each gas. We have 16 here, 3 mining each gas, and we have a little over 16 here. Cool. Nice. Great. And in production, we have 2 more drones. But right when this hatch goes down, that's when we're going to see Life halt all of his drone production.
Our forces are under attack.
There's the 3rd moving in. Some attempted little sneaky moves in. You know, this is going to be a little annoying. We'll talk about this timing in a moment. We're actually just going to briefly see why most Terran players build Hellions early on. It's to prevent things like this from really doing that much damage. And all that good jazz. But I do want to come back to 9 minutes. Looking at the life cam. Where are these queens? Where did those queens go? Ah! These 2 queens. To truly tell their story, we're going to have to back up 30 seconds. Once this creep spread is totally all good, it's spreading out everywhere, these 2 queens no longer really need to be used for defense. Why? Because the creep spread is good and we're starting to make lings again. So we don't need those queens up at the front. So there they lay their final eggs. And here we see 1 macro hatch at 9 and a 2nd macro hatch at 9:30.
Our forces are under attack.
Where is it?
Our forces.
When this goes down, this is where everything begins to pull together. These 2 queens, again, going to do a final little laying, but then they're going to wander back to these hatches. We'll note that there's actually 5 queens out, and we are going 5 hatch. This is what I love so much about this style. It's so lean. The purpose of these queens is so great. It's not just some defense that we needed early and then, well, derp, whatever, I give. I guess they'll just die. I guess they'll just be part of my hopeful defense. No, man, the queen comes back. Look at the queen coming back, getting ready to meet her brand new hatchery. And Life's been doing nothing but flooding zerglings this whole time. Up to 66 lings. Nothing noteworthy going to be happening about the build at this point. No gas at all. Yeah, just a lot of zerglings coming in from a lot of sides. A lot of banelings getting morphed. Baneling speed is the first and only thing we did with our layer tech. And then when these were done, this was the immediate follow-up. But now, oh, these queens that are just stockpiled everywhere. This other queen, soon she'll be even coming home. We have so freaking many zerglings. And this is not even an all-in timing. Let's just admire the beauty of this attack. And then note that following it up, we actually are going to have larvae coming up at 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 plus 5. So we're going to have 30 sets of lings coming at a time. 30 to 40. Every time the larva pops off, we have the larva that popped off and the larva that was just naturally generated by the hatch. So most of the time, a timing push like this, that we see Life doing, would peter out. But instead, Life's able to just keep it going through the roof. And the units lost tab, Zerg's losing way the hell more than Terran. But that doesn't matter. This is what's fun about these low-economy Zergling-based things. We are just overwhelming our opponent. In true Zerg fashion. Look at how helpless Jjakji looks. 5 hatches, just churning it out. Oh, a drop. He kills off the pool. That's fine. I will gladly exchange my pool to advance to the next round in the GSL. Nice. This is some ZvT, man. Thus far, basically what we've done is we've gone in painstaking detail as to what's going on in this build. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do it in ultra-fast speed recap mode to talk about the first 12 minutes of the story, both from Zerg and Terran point of view. Life fully intends on going for a 4-queen opening to apply a little pressure to the opponent, who he finds out is going for command center first. He builds 4 Lings, which permits him to easily waltz in, do a little annoying harassment, make some units move around, but most importantly, just get some basic scouting out. All the overlords spread, because Phase 1, the corner-cutting phase for Terran, is now over, and Phase 2 is about to begin. Hellions containing, doing all sorts of annoying harassment. So the overlords placed all around the middle to ensure that side is safe. Third hatch comes up. Double gas went down right as our queens finished up. At 7 minutes, we wound up throwing down the double Evo chamber, and we're just getting a 5th backup queen just in case. And we're going to be doing nothing but building drones till 8:45. Nothing but building drones, defending and spreading creep till 8:45. Doing nothing at all but spreading creep, building drones, maybe a couple Lings. Couple defensive structures if we're feeling a little worried, but not really. I mean, we'll even cancel this bad boy. But then suddenly, 8:30, hatch goes down. 8:45, baneling nest and double extractor goes down. Still building lots of drones. Yes, because this is the phase. Oops, I hit the wrong button. No, pull back to 8 minutes. This entire period is the phase. I'll go back to 8:45. This is the phase where Hellions are still trying to control space, and Jjakji still can't do much with them because of this great Overlord placement. So, of course, life. 8:45. Extractor, baneling nest. Still droning. Trickling in with some Lings, not a ton. 18. Hatch at 9. Hatch at 9:30. And when that second hatch gets built, stare at production with me. Baneling nest. Ooh, yeah. Again, I'm going to ignore the timing of this attack for this video. But our biomining player hasn't quite gotten fired up yet. He's firing up at 12. At 12 is when his big push is going to happen, at 12 minutes. So let's flood a whole bunch of Lings, centrifugal hooks. With our 8:30 layer is going to be finishing just before then. At 12 is when he wants to attack, so we're flooding Lings. Our extra hatches are starting to kick into gear. We're morphing in as many banelings as we can. Why are we morphing them on his side of the map? So that way we can do an attack that strikes at 12. I don't need to worry about medevac drops here, or harassment from multiple prongs. We're getting to hit 30 seconds before Terran wants to power up. In fact, hilariously, watch this. I'm going to hit the B button to go to 11:10. The medevacs that would permit this push to begin are just about to finish. Combat shield is just about to finish. 1-1 actually literally did just finish. I'm going to hit the B button to back up. Just like 20 seconds or so. Come on. Show you +1. Yeah, look at this. Look how great this timing is. Can Terran have pushed out sooner? No, because look at this. 10:44. These finished. A few seconds later, this looks like Tech Lab's about to finish. Looks like the medevacs are about to finish. He's right about to get into gear. Look at all these critical upgrades. Look, it's just now finished. These medevacs are just now popping out. And that's when this attack is rolling in. Fuck yeah. Yes. How cool is this? I'm not worried about a drop. I'm gonna kill him. And hitting in an area like this is great. Why not do from this angle? Because it's very clear that he has his side and my side. We want to get in between where our speed can benefit us. So here's the power overwhelming mode. This attack would be done if it were not for the fact that we have 5 macro hatches. Excuse me, 5 hatches out of which we are macroing. Look at this. You will look at the zergling production number. It will rarely be anything but 30. It dips down, and then it's just gonna like spike all the way back up again. Actually, see me rarely be anything but 20. Well, that's fine. It's still a huge number. And just more in-rolls. Yeah. Now, when we come back for part 3, what we're going to do is we're going to look at how life transitions through with this. Because he doesn't win the game here. He's just doing, obviously, massive damage. But most importantly, what life's doing right now is he has repelled this 12-minute push just by virtue of attacking right before it ever got off the ground. So suddenly, biomine is not even getting momentum against life. Stay tuned for part 3 where we'll close it out and show you his sexy, sexy transitions. See you in 2.